Everybody, welcome to the March 14th, 2024 meeting of the Allegheny County Board of Property Assessment Appeals and Review. If you would please, can we call the meeting to order and have roll call?
Sure. Mr. Ferguson?
Here.
Mr. Smythe?
Here.
Ms. Montgomery?
Here.
Mr. Sully?
Here.
Ms. Thornton-Meyer? Here. I'm here. We have four.
Thank you. I have a motion for approval of the regular meeting minutes for February 29th, 2024, please.
I'd like to defer the minutes only because we just got them late.
So do a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Second.
Second.
Aye. Aye. So moved. Let's move then into the public comment period. And who would like to start today? Mr. Silvestri, welcome back.
Yes, good morning. I'm just going to address one item, which is item D on the solicitor's report. It's tax parcel 457P255. The agenda item is to reissue dispositions with current dates, and with that, I agree, but before the reissuance, of course, you need to rescind what has been already issued, and between the time of rescission and the time of reissuance, I'm requesting a hearing on the common level ratio to be applied to the 2021 disposition, which I noticed applied an 87.5% common level ratio. I have already sent the evidence that the common level ratio is something different than 87.5. I think it's pretty clear from the litigation to reduce the common level ratio from 81 point something to 63.5, that 87.5% can't be correct. There has been no procedure for years on addressing a common level ratio issue, and my client requests that that be done. And I'll just add to what I've said, that when we've been to the Board of Viewers, 87.5% has never been used in a stipulation for years now. All of the solicitors recognize that it's wrong, and what we've done is come up with something different. And I think if we had a consult with the school solicitor before the Board of Assessment, that solicitor would embrace what has been traditionally done, which is to agree to a lower ratio with the evidence that I have.
It's a little out of the ordinary. Let's have an opinion by the solicitor.
Mr. Silvestri and I have discussed this issue, and it's my opinion that the Board of Property Assessment is bound by the common level ratio as issued by staff. Board of Viewers isn't necessarily bound by that. So when Mr. Silvestri and I talked, for my opinion, the correct remedy is to just give him a reissue disposition with a new date so he can take it to Board of Viewers and accomplish what he would like to accomplish. I don't think he's opposed to that remedy, but
I am opposed because taxes will be paid on an 87.5% ratio for anywhere from 6 months to 18 months, which is the time it takes to work through the Board of Viewers.
and I understand that. I just don't think this board has the jurisdiction to give Mr. Silvestri the relief he wants. And the only thing we can do is reissue his disposition with a current date.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else? That's all. Anybody else from the public? All right, moving on. Solicitor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, in your packet here, and these have been in our team's site for a little while. There's a markup of the appeal, assessment appeal hearings form, and a markup of the telephone markup. I'm sorry, that one's buzzing. And I'm actually going to not ask you to approve them today. I wanted to give you hard copies so you could review them in case you haven't pulled them off Teams. And I'm going to ask you to review them, approve them next month.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on, we have a tax exemption application that Mr. Montgomery heard. It's 130 Grant Street in Turtle Creek. And it's parcel 445, P as in Paul 12, for tax years 2022 and forward.
14?
445, P as in Paul 14.
14, yeah.
The owner had purchased this property in December of 2021, and the prior tax exemption was removed by operation of the deed. In 2022, the owner filed a timely exemption for 2023. They didn't file for 2022, so our recommendation is to grant the exemption for 2023 and forward and deny the retroactive exemption for 2022.
And I'll move that we do that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So passed.
Moving on, we have a request for a reissued disposition with a current date for tax years 2022 and 2023 for parcel 370 H is in Hotel 15. The owner representative states that even though the file shows on the website as full board approval, no one ever received a copy of the disposition. Again, this is no cost to the county to reissue the disposition with the current date. So I would recommend granting that.
Motion to,
Go ahead.
motion to grant.
And Mr. Sully, your second?
I'll second, yeah, and see.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you. And the next item is the one that Mr. Silvestri addressed in public comment, 457 P as in Paul 255. He gave you a good summary of it, and my summary on my solicitor's report is actually incorrect. He's asking for reissued dispositions with current dates for tax years 2021, 2022, and 2023. And it would be my recommendation to issue those with a current date.
So moved on 4D.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Moved.
I'm going to just jump to number 6, and then we'll go back to number 5, because number 5 will take some discussion. Number 6 is, and you see it in your attached to your packet. It is it's marked on the bottom, item 6. It's a disposition with a little additive. You can see there, you'll see parcel ID, owner name, location, municipality, school district, years, owner filed, class, and then now you'll see case number. The case number is issued when you receive your notice for scheduling, but then the case number never comes back again. So I had some attorneys approach me and say, can we get the case number on the disposition? Because we get the disposition, we don't have the case number, and then we have to call Howard to ask him for the case number so we can get the evidence out of the portal.
Okay.
So I talked to Mary Beth and she's like, we can do it, and they've prepared this, but we would just ask the board to approve it. So people aren't bothering Howard for a case number.
And that's the only change on the
It's the
disposition.
only change, we're just
So
adding the
moved.
case number.
Yeah, we do that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Lloyd?
I just had a question. The first one you talked about, 445P14,
Yes.
I don't see it in the system. That's why I was just,
I can double check it, but that was the number that Mr. Montgomery gave to me.
Yes.
do you have an
Put
address
it on
for it?
here. All right.
130 Grant Street in Turtle Creek.
Okay.
All right, going back to the last one, we are then approved.
Thank you. And the last thing I have would be a discussion we touched on last time. We were all together about the logistics for trading that we're required to do under the county ordinance. So I welcome your thoughts.
I'd like to get Mr. Sully's thoughts.
Okay.
I was gonna give them after you did.
I'm asking for yours.
Well, I have offered to just take care of the whole thing, working with Barbara. All right? I'm CPE, you're CPE?
Yes.
And we've worked with the AAP before. I know the people, they gave me 2 options. One was too expensive, where they bring all the speakers in live. I don't need that. But I did have a brief conversation with our solicitor, Amy, about getting the gold room, reserving the gold room, and getting as many people as we can for one day. Hopefully, we get all the board members there, because we can have a Q&A at the end. There's 2 3-hour modules. So, and I think it's a wonderful idea Amy came up with, we have lunch.
That was my only requirement.
If you feed people, they will show up, right?
Used to do that.
Right? Yeah, yeah. And then there's education on top of that. So here's how it works. And Barbara just left the room, darn it. We're gonna have one invoice. We're gonna need people to sign up. We need to reserve the date. We send out an email to all the hearing officers, and commercial included, and this is everybody, all board members. And hopefully we can get all board members on one day. Maybe it's good if the board can align our dates. Barbara contacts county council to get the gold room for this. Any of you ever been to the gold room?
Yes, we used to do all our meetings there,
Okay,
or trainings there.
well, you have it. Right. Okay. So Barbara, go ahead.
Is training available on weekends?
Well, here's the thing. We have that one day event, right? Some people will not be able to make it that day.
I'm
Then,
asking, weekend might be better for.
see, I like someone monitoring
I'm
you to
sorry?
taking. I prefer, as an educator, I want someone monitoring that activity. If you come into the county office building and you're in one of the hearing rooms, and I told Amy, get rid of the phones. They go in there and for 6 hours, they're gonna be here a whole day. I don't know if it's credible to say that they can take it on the weekends at home, because how do I know they
I'm
even?
not staying at home.
Okay, go ahead.
In the gold room,
Go ahead.
can we do the training on a weekend? As
Oh,
opposed to a weekday?
I don't know the answer to that. We're gonna talk about this. I talked about getting the gold room. Maybe contact Ken Varhola today. Weekend's great. We can do that.
I'm just throwing that as an option again for
How
those
does-
who work.
Let's start with the board. Is a Saturday okay? I assume Saturday, not Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let us in on Sunday anyhow.
Saturday, because you're in real estate in Lausanne. That's when your busy time, right?
Could we offer 2 times? One during the week and one on the weekend?
Yeah, we can do that.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that idea better.
A and a B. Okay, why don't we do that? So Barbara, number one, let's get the gold room 2 days, right? One is a weekend, a Saturday, and the other would be a Friday. I need to get, Tuesdays are bad. I know that for council. And a lot of their subcommittees have meetings there, so we have to work our way in. I would like the goal to be before April 15th, that we get everyone in. If a hearing officer does not take the training, they cannot hear appeals. If a board member does not take the training, they cannot hear appeals.
What option do they have if,
No
say
option.
they're sick and can't make it?
They don't hear appeals.
Is there a way for them to later train so that they can?
Oh, they can come in here, Barbara would monitor their, and they go into a hearing room, just like the case reviewers do. And they're here all day, observe, one-on-one, virtually. Yeah, I will come up with all of that, and I'll oversee that, as long as the board's okay with that. All right, we have to get this done, right? We have an ordinance that requires it. Now, you sign up, and I explained to our solicitor, it's like CLE or CE training. You get a certificate in this case. So you sign up, you observe it, we turn it into the AAP, the Assessors Association of Pennsylvania, and they give you this certificate. And the certificate, I guess the solicitor or the administrator would be the keeper of the
The
records.
administrator would be, I would not be.
Okay, Barbara, you would be in charge of, every 2 years, we have to take the training. Those of you who have real estate licenses, every even year, it's a great way to remember it. Every even year, we must have the training. We've talked about in-house training on the odd number of years. I'd like to offer what I can do and,
Well, the one thing I did want to bring up also is I would like to just have a little training session with our hearing officers about how to use the system.
I agree.
I don't know how to sign their names to the bottom of the forms. Totally joking that we know that they have a hard time doing
A number of
that.
issues that need to be
So I was
addressed.
looking at that date being
Weekend?
April 25th after our board meeting. And that's logistics, and that's, how do we log onto our system? Does our T numbers work? Do we know how to turn on the recording? Do we know how to do this? That's more like hands-on.
I agree.
What was that date again?
April 25th after our board meeting.
It's my anniversary. Wait a minute. Quick question for the chief assessor. Does Tyler have a written manual for the appeals side of IAS world? Or any?
You mean your side?
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Can you request, see if they have it?
Sure.
I'd appreciate
And
it.
then I have a
It'd be
question.
great if they had it, Amy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're very good. During the reassessment, they had manuals for every step of that reassessment. It'd be great to have a written,
I've never seen a manual.
but they created the database. You would think that they would have a written manual for, that'd be great. Just get back to Wade or.
Go back to your courses. Would you require currently active appraisers and real estate agents who've taken the CP, their continuing ed courses for their license renewal, which would be the same courses, to
Well,
take it again or
I
exempt?
think if
Want
they
me to answer that?
I would think if they have a certificate that they
yeah.
took those classes,
It's done.
that they've already taken that training.
No.
No?
No.
But if-
See, our component is, I'm a CPE, Susan's a CPE. Our certifications are not active. We need the 28 hours. And
Well, then you're not, but then you aren't a CPA.
But well, yeah, but I get 28 hours, then I magically become a CPE, which next year is the cycle through the appraisal board. But to answer that question, this deals primarily with appeals boards, not with the assessment office. So these modules are for appeals board.
Well, let me ask you this question. I think this is the way I interpreted Mr. Fabian's question. If somebody took the exact class that you're gonna take and they already took it last month, like maybe, and then they have their certificate, that should count,
You took
right?
it today.
Yeah, that should count. Okay, that's what I thought Mr. Fabian was asking.
But it has to be through us. We have to, bring the certificate.
Yeah, they have to bring their certificate and say,
And they would have to pay, it's, I think, $30 per module.
right,
Somebody would have paid $60, but it wouldn't be continuing education.
right. Well, if somebody was an eager beaver and already did this,
Or just chose it.
Yeah,
Or just
the answer is
chose-
yes.
that's what I thought. Yeah, so we agree,
Yeah.
because that's what I thought.
Yeah, and it looks like, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, that appraisers, some of those classes overlap, don't they?
No,
The appraisal requirement, continuing education, none of those classes overlap?
no, these modules are not continuing education for appraisers or real estate licensees. These are specifically for appeals boards, period. They're designed for what we do. What we do is a lot different than what Mr. Fabian's department does. They assess real estate. We assess real estate, but we do it a lot differently through the appeals process. So,
Mr. Fabian?
Is one of your courses appraisal review?
yes.
Well, that is a course. I took that for my license renewal,
All right.
for this cycle, actually.
I'll send you the link.
I know, I have the link. I have the
Okay.
email that came from from the state, from the organization. I have that link.
I received an email this week I shared with the board members and Barbara, Lori Lawyer.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lori Lawyer.
Contact her today, Barbara, and you might want to ask her that question about Lou's saying that he took the modules.
I didn't take it from her. I took it from McKissick.
Well, see,
But it's
I'm
appraisal
not going to
review.
speak for the AP, but I don't believe that would apply. Well, see, you don't need these modules. Lou. You're not an appeals board member.
That's
We're
not what
hearing
I'm
office.
talking about, though.
Okay.
It's the same course, just offered by somebody else.
But I'm saying we'll get the answer. I'm
Okay.
speculating that the answer is no.
Question, For the hearing officers, will they be compensated for that time they spend for training?
They should be, yes. Amy?
They always get compensated for their training.
Yeah.
They'll get a full day for the mandatory training, and then they'll probably get a half day,
We
what we're
don't.
gonna do on the 25th.
The board members don't.
And that was my next question. If we're spending 6 hours or whatever it is, should that count as a regular meeting if we're meeting? We're not doing a technical meeting.
There was communication between the.
I know that county council said that they did not intend the board to get paid for the training.
And even if we did, it would still come out of the same bucket with the same.
Same result, end result, right?
And that's honestly why I picked the 25th, because if anyone wants to stay, you're already getting paid to come to the meeting, so then you can stay.
That's good. But the goal is prior to April 15th, we got that, at least one of the events, maybe 20 hearing officers. And these are even our commercial hearing officers. There are no exemptions.
We don't have any commercial hearing officers that are CPEs, do we, Barbara?
I have no idea.
When I reviewed them, I didn't see anybody who was a CPE.
Yeah.
There might have been one, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, that is, thank you, everyone. The only other thing I would ask at the end of the meeting, I would ask for a executive session to discuss personnel.
Okay.
Thank you. I've exhausted my report. And exhausted all of you.
Oh, that number is 445P 141.
Okay, so Mr. Montgomery gave me the wrong number.
It's
What was that number again?
445P as in Paul 141. That's the 130 grant,
Can we put that into the record or do we?
Turtle Creek.
I think because we put it on the record, as long as it's correct in the motion. It's 455.
445.
141, yeah.
445P 141.
Yeah.
Wait.
455.
455 is what you're saying,
P.
No,
not 445.
445.
It is.
Or it is 455.
455.
One more
You said
time.
two numbers.
455
455.
P 141, and it's Total Salvation Ministries, 130 Grant Street, Turtle Creek.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, not my exemption appeal.
No one wants to say they own it, right? But, I mean, it did make sense. You didn't apply 1 year, we're not going to grant the exemption for the prior year. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to the Appeals Department report, Ms. Brown.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you've received my report on Tuesday, I believe, of this week. We are continuing to receive appeal applications for the tax year 2024. However, I do think it is at a slower pace than normal, but we look forward to the season wrapping up for the appeals coming in, and hopefully the numbers will grow over the next 2.5 weeks.
It looks like we have about 2,500 so far, Lori?
Around, yes, 2368. And of those, the property owners have filed a little over 1,200. The school and the muni, a little over 1,100.
And how does this stand, not including last year, but going back further to a normal year?
Well, for tax year 2023 specifically, we are down about 2,100 appeal applications. This time last year, we were at 4,523 for tax year 2023 alone.
Okay.
This for 2022, the second filing, we were at 2,400, I'm sorry. And that is the second filing. That is just a little bit more than what we had before. And then for the regular 2022A, the first filing, we were at about 6,300 at the time that this report was run.
Okay. Again, that was atypical.
Lori, I have a question, Mike Solly.
Yes.
City School District, did they file their appeals for this year?
The city of Pittsburgh?
Not the city of, the school district, Pittsburgh School District.
No, I haven't gotten any of theirs yet.
Okay.
Not as of Tuesday.
And the breakout is close to 50-50, which is phenomenal. In the last 20 years, it's usually been, 2 years ago it was 90% school district. Last year it was 60% school district. And the owners, you know, with the lower ratio. Historically, everyone, over the last 25 years, I've tracked this, 9,000 appeals a year is
I don't have that.
the median number. I just don't see us hitting that 9,000 number. And Amy, you and I talked briefly, some school solicitors have already filed.
My understanding from some of my colleagues is the school districts have already filed at least 85% of the appeals they plan on filing in 2020.
So unless the owners start coming in droves, this may be an off-peak year, which is a good thing for us personally, but
I'll take a slow year.
yeah.
Really, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Working understaffed when we are at the height of things.
One
Also,
last
it makes
thing.
sense. It makes sense because there's no reason to appeal because of the common level ratio, and that's why the school districts. I'm surprised they're not fighting it more.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother story.
Again,
That's true.
are a different breed than the school districts, which filed in droves. Each property owner has to do the math. And just for the record, since January 1, we've approved, if we approve today, 10,835 dispositions going out since January 1. Heck of a number, and maybe we have a couple thousand left. Unless Lori disagrees, and then I'm finished.
No, I don't disagree.
Okay,
Good.
Ms. Brown, anything more?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the OPA items from Ms. Brooks.
Hello, I do not have anything to go over today.
I'll make something up.
Sorry, Wade, nothing for you.
I have a question for Ms. Brooks. Can you give us an update? I understand that you had a couple of meetings with Tyler Technologies about the field application for the CLR. Is that moving north or south? Is there anything to report, Carolyn?
So we have been going back and forth with them about different updates that we can make. We're hoping to plan something for the 26th to meet with them as far as the different fields they can enter.
Would it help if our chairman was present for that meeting, Carolyn? Only because I know that OPA owns the system, but the county owns the system, and
So once we have some good ideas on the best ways it can work, we will then meet with you all. Karen is hoping to next week when we meet with them actually have something in the QA site. So as soon as we have that, we will let you know.
One last thing, Carolyn, because we know each other very well. I trust that you're working on this, and if you could just share with Tyler, in the first year of a reassessment, current market value is used. And our solicitor knows this. The Shaw decision changed everything with the CLR, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but whatever the CR is in any year after a reassessment, it must be applied in the appeals process.
Correct.
So we're talking about almost every year, when there's no reassessment, we need that field application. I just said there were almost 11,000 appeals disposed of by this board for this year. We have one person, Carolyn, doing this manually, and I'm sure you know that. And there's always a chance that someone could make a mistake. It's just, time is of the essence, and I hope you and Tyler can just get this going for the 2024 tax year. I'm finished.
Yes.
Thanks, Carolyn.
All right, moving on, items of consideration from the board administrator, Ms. Baldwin.
I have a reissue disposition with the current date for parcel ID 85A as an alpha 57. This hearing was heard October 13th of 2023. It was dispositioned out January 18th of 2024. The property owner reached out to BPAAR indicating that they followed up with the Office of Property Assessment regarding the disposition, and he was forwarded to BPAAR, and he indicates he did not receive his disposition notice at all, and he would like to appeal to the BOV.
Okay, so you're requesting a reissue disposition.
With the current date, parcel ID 85A is now 557.
Anything from council with regard to approving or not approving? All
I
right.
have no opinion. I would assume that you would do it.
And may I have a motion from the board?
Motion, go ahead.
Motion to reissue disposition for parcel 85A57.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, the second one is parcel ID 2E53. That's a tiebreaker, or is that a tiebreaker? HU? Yes, HU. I was contacted by a number of different people regarding this one.
Me first.
Board members, solicitor, and Ed Hirschberg, Mr. Ed Hirschberg. There was a clerical error, huge, with the value that went out on the disposition. It was 15 million that the CLR was supposedly applied to. It was a lesser number, I think maybe 15,000 or 1,500 that reduced it to, yeah.
It was 9 million was the
Oh, this is
actual
that.
value, and somebody put it in as 900,000.
Yes.
There was a
Ouch.
magnitude of 10
Those
difference.
zeros will get you.
Right, so that was for 2022, but it also affected the 2023 as well.
Same value for both years?
No,
No, it was the same value for both years.
it was the same
Yeah,
value.
it was the same value for both years.
All right.
But it was a 2022 with a 2023, and the recommended value was 9 million.
You have the number.
So, yeah, so Liz already provided these corrections. So the value to be rescinded on the 2022 was 991,600
Okay,
for the total, but the value to be reissued is the 9,915,500. For 2023, the value to be rescinded was 1,068,200, but the value to be reissued was 10,681,600.
Is that right?
They were two separate
Must have been two different decisions then.
values, decisions for that.
Should we go with that? Amy?
I didn't look at the files.
Okay.
I just was told, hey, that this should have been 9 million and it's 900,000. Similar to the one that we had that was, they put it in 2 million and it should have been 200,000.
And Ed Hirschberg is agreeing with this, because he had already did the math on it.
And Liz and you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't look.
That's good enough for me.
I just knew you had a magnitude problem.
Yeah.
again, may I have a motion?
Motion to rescind and reissue for parcel ID 2E53, tiebreaker HU for tax years 2022 and 2023.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
I
opposed?
keep.
Yes.
So moved. Moving on, item C.
So these are the two that I brought to your attention and Wade as well. It was a property owner, and I'm just going to take the first one, which was Andrew Hughes, parcel ID 298N33. He reached out with regard to the decision, the decision of the disposition, indicating that he thought that the CLR would be applied. And I forwarded you all the email, and you guys reviewed it, and you signed off on that particular one, that it should receive the common level ratio on the 361,000 rescind and reissue per waived.
Okay. Just for the record, I apologize, my hearing is off. Did you say 298N 33 or 38?
33.
It's on here as 38.
33. My apologies, because it is 33. Sometimes I get trigger finger and I'm just typing it.
And typos.
Yes, but I have the disposition in front of me, so it is 33.
And we're gonna handle 249 and Nancy 126 at the same time as well?
Yes, and that's a similar situation, different property owner, Ms. Virginia Allen. She too called in regarding the disposition because collectively, the folks in her area, in her neighborhood that were going through appeals, they worked on it together, provided the same evidence. There were a number of neighbors that received the CLR and she didn't. So that was another one that I forwarded to you guys in email. And rescind should have been 318,800 with the common level ratio.
Okay, just to be clear here, because I've seen myself reviewing these a number of times where people are asking for a CLR to be applied regardless of a change in disposition. Was the value changed on this property?
No, it was sustained.
It was sustained,
Yes.
but she wants a CLR applied.
Well, yeah, and the CLR applied to what Amy indicated was what her purchase price was, 318,800.
But there was no change in value on the hearing officer's report. It was sustained.
Let's table it and let the board look at it.
Sister, yeah, so the hearing officer made a recommendation of sustained with CLR applied.
Which can't,
That's impossible.
that's impossible.
Exactly.
And I remember looking at this one now that Barbara said that, and clearly the evidence had, the hearing officer didn't know what the word sustain means. And they meant sales price with the CLR applied, but they used the word sustain, which is not correct.
Right,
Words have meaning.
so.
Yes. CLRs have meaning.
So
John?
do you want to hold this or?
I mean, I did look at the file and I looked at and that the hearing officer notes clearly says sales price and comps, and then it said sustain with
With
CLR. And it appears that the hearing officer meant apply the sales price with the
So we'll
CLR.
defer this because it's.
Yeah, then we can look at it. Do a motion to table.
All right,
Move the table.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
That's a training thing, right? Like sustain means something.
Yeah.
Okay, after you guys made the decision, I did speak with that property owner, said she was expecting that change. I'm just like, just for,
Define that change. What was she expecting?
she was expecting with
CLR.
with the evidence that she submitted, along with all the other, folks that had a hearing, she was expecting to get the CLR applied to the purchase price.
So she's saying that the hearing officer told her that.
No, she's not saying that. the
Okay,
hearing officer
good.
told her
Okay,
that.
we're good.
No, she's not saying that. I'm just telling you that after it was reviewed, I had a conversation with her.
All right.
That's it, so.
All right, and then I need a motion with regard to 28N33, please.
We just tabled them.
No, we tabled the 249 and 126.
Oh, I thought we were taking them both as one motion.
I thought we were doing this two different things.
I heard to do it as one.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
So we
but-
tabled them.
We're going to table them both? Okay.
Yes.
We're tabling 7C. Mr. Solis, that was your intention to table
Yeah.
7C?
The whole thing, okay. All right, moving on to BPAAR web changes.
I made the updates to the website regarding the change in dates for the March 28th date that was moved to March 26th. So that's been changed up on the website. I also sent to the Post Gazette to advertise that. I think it should be advertised today or tomorrow. Today or tomorrow, it will run and show that the board meeting has changed from the 28th to the 26th.
That is on the website with an asterisk.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that. What?
I know, like you sleep. So, Amy, were there any other website changes? I know that,
Yes, so I had forwarded to the board, proposed changes to the website with respect to like the date, you know, I think the website currently says like 2023 appeals.
Two.
Yeah, in 2022, so I had marked up the website by hand and forwarded it off to the board, and I would ask that you guys authorize those changes to be made.
Please,
Thank you.
before the deadline.
When is the deadline?
April 1,
April 1.
April Fool's Day.
Okay. All right,
You have a motion in a second, you need to call it, you need to call the vote.
okay. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now let's move.
that's it for me. Thank
Thank
you.
you. And board approval lists. I do not have.
Letting him in and he keeps leaving.
They are not there. I'm just going to read from the list.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
switch packets with you, please, this here, because this is, there's like two of them all together. This is a solid. I'll forward to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
so
split those in half? What's the other?
these are the same thing, but just two copies of it, because I was asked to
Oh,
make
okay,
two
it's
copies
two
of
copies
it.
of the same.
Yes.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay. What are we voting on? Is it-
Board approval list for 2023, starting with parcel 1569-L88. Then for 2022, first parcel ID 1 Mary 38. Then tax year 2022 Y, first parcel 2G 50. And the last we have tax year 2021, first parcel 561 E Edward 50. Going down the line, Mr. Smythe, any pulls or recusals?
None for me.
Ms. Montgomery?
None.
Thank you. Ms. Bamber?
None.
Ms. Wortnott?
None.
Mr. Sully?
None for me.
And I have none. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the board list as read.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Whole business, Iowa Technology CLR.
Well, obviously, Carolyn Book said that hopefully we're optimistic about the future with that CLR application, so I'll just say we're done. Okay.
And going on to new business, we have on the list, BPAAR plan to comply with Bill 122917-24 and 12918-24. Mr. Sully, put this on.
I'm just going to take a pass on this. We can do this in a couple of weeks. We already talked about the training, and that's one of the bills. The other thing is we have a vision about this 90-day rule and how we have a workflow that changes, and I don't need to go over that now. One last thing I have for Ms. Brown again. How many appeals were filed so far this year? 20, I want to write this number down. 2,501. Ms. Brown?
Yes. I'm turning
What
to
is
the
that?
page.
Okay.
We have 2,368 annual appeals that have been received. We've received 133 change notice appeals, which gives you the total of 2,501 appeals filed, which is on your first page of the report that I sent to you.
You have a copy of that, Mr. Sully?
Yes, thank you.
It's right at the top.
Thank you.
And Lori, you said that's down.
Yes, it is. If we compare from last year, we are down 2,145 appeals that have been filed up to the same date of the report that I sent you.
So half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, we only have 2 weeks left. Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else to add.
Moving on, you have the last item, C here, the sign-offs.
I'm not gonna go with that.
Does anybody have anything else at this time? All right, then I'd like to ask the board to stay on for an executive session, and I will call on the chairman for the March 14th, 2024 meeting of the Board of Property Assessment Appeals and Review. Thank you
Have
very
a
much.
great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
And we will not be taking any, we will not be coming back in and we will not be taking any action.
I'm sorry.
I got it.
Oh, okay. Right.